Hey guys, DC Network here, coming at you with another video. Back in March of this year, Batman Cape Crusader was officially sold to Amazon Prime Video, no longer going to be finding its home on Cartoon Network's Acme Night or on Max. And the series, if you guys recall, was initially announced alongside My Adventures with Superman back in 2021, and both of the series at that time were given a 2023 release window, and we know in the case with My Adventures with Superman, the series is currently premiering weekly episodes on Adult Swim, but in the case of Batman Cape Crusader, we haven't really heard anything when it comes to a release date or release window for this series. So today I wanted to talk about with you guys what is happening with Batman Cape Crusader. Where is it? When is it going to come out? And what's the story altogether? So first and foremost, the elephant in the room, which we've discussed a little bit earlier in this video, is that the series was sold back in March to Amazon Prime Video. I would presume that Batman Cape Crusader and My Adventures with Superman both had a similar development cycle, given that they were announced at the same time and expected to premiere around the same time as well. Both series were probably in the same spot when it comes to development cycles, so I would presume that Batman Cape Crusader is done, if not almost done, as we are currently speaking. Where the catch comes into, and this is now, we don't know exactly what's happening because of the whole sale to Amazon. Does Amazon come in and watch what Warner Brothers Discovery has? Because if you guys remember, this show is still being produced in-house by Warner Brothers Animation. It's just that it's going to be premiering on Amazon as opposed to Max and Cartoon Network or Adult Swim. So does Amazon come into the picture and say, all right, let's sit down, let's see what you have for this series so far? And do they watch the show and say, hey, we don't like that? Do they have any creative control when it comes to this series? And that we don't really have the answer to. We don't know if Amazon's gonna come in and if they're gonna say, hey, you know, episodes 1 through 3 are great, but we don't really like where you take the story in episodes 4, 5, and 6, so we need you to rework that. Do they come in and say, we want this series to be less mature, more mature, darker, or more comedic? What do they come in and say? We don't know. So that's the whole situation with Batman Cape Crusader. If that is the case and they do come in and say you have to rework these things, that's obviously going to throw a monkey wrench into the situation. That's obviously going to cause delays because they're then going to have to rework different ideas and different plot points that were going to appear throughout the season. But nevertheless, let's say that's not the case. Then what happened then? Where is this series? Because it should be ready in the not too distant future. And that all depends on, is Amazon holding this off to premiere it on their streaming service at a later date because they want to wait till My Adventures with Superman's over? Maybe they want to be the only animated superhero series in the spotlight when this show premieres. Who knows? This is all just pure speculation. But if I had to guess when this show is going to premiere, if I had to put money on it, I really don't think it's coming this year. And I would have to say that's probably just because it's not ready, or Amazon's not ready to premiere it, because really it's kind of like grasping at straws when it comes to predicting when this series is going to premiere. Because in the case of My Adventures with Superman as well, we never really heard anything about the show other than the initial announcement and then when they gave us the release window of 2023. Other than that, there were no production updates. We never really heard anything on the series until randomly earlier this year they just announced, hey, it's coming to Adult Swim now on July 6th. We were all under the assumption that it was coming to Cartoon Network. So who knows where Batman is in the production landscape? Who knows what's happening with it? But if I had a guess, I really don't think it's coming this year. I feel like if it was coming this year, we probably would have heard something by now. I mean, of course, there's still all of August, all of September, October, November, December to come. It is possible that they come out next month and say, hey, Batman Cape Crusader is going to release on Amazon Prime Video on October 3rd. That's very much possible. That could happen still. But if I had to guess, if I had to bet, if I had to put money on it, I would say that this series probably isn't coming until next year, which is a shame because it'd be nice to see the shows when they're announced and they have these release windows. It'd be nice to actually hit the windows. I know, sometimes things happen during development that you can't control. Some outside external factors might happen and maybe someone gets fired off of the staff. Who knows? It's kind of frustrating shocking when, especially with Cartoon Network, I've noticed this over the past decade. A lot of times they'll have a release window and they don't hit that release window. Like Batman Cape Crusader and My Adventures with Superman were both announced for this year. I'm honestly shocked that My Adventures with Superman even hit its window this year. Perfect example, we just had Unicorn Warriors Eternal wrap up a few weeks ago on Adult Swim. That was a series that had a release window of 2021 and it didn't premiere in 2021, nor did it premiere in 2022, but finally we got it in 2023. And Cartoon Network has done this year after year after year with multiple series. I mean, look at We Baby Bears. They announced a release date. I think it was supposed to be August of 21. I think, don't quote me on that. They announced a release date or a release window for it. And then a few weeks later, they came out and said the series was being delayed until January of 2022. It's just so often that Cartoon Network does this where they put a release window out there and then we just never hear about it. If I were running Cartoon Network, I really feel like the better way to go about this, the better way to announce your series is to just announce them and say they're in development. And then maybe after a year and a half, you give an update on, hey, this is what's happening with the series. Production's going really well. We're going to target this release window next year, or we're going to target a release window in the fall. And then that way you're more likely to hit the release window because you know how things are progressing. When they announce these shows so early and then they give us a release window so early, they oftentimes don't hit it because, like I said, things come up in production. But nevertheless, hopefully Batman Cape Crusader comes out in the not too distant future. If I had a guess, like I said before, I don't think it's coming this year. I would hope it does, but I think we're looking at next year sometime in 2024. Anyways, let me know in the comment section below what you guys think about all this. Do you guys think we're getting Batman Cape Crusader this year or next year, or maybe even in 2025? Who knows? If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to see more content like this from DC Network. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.